Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What is something legal that you're extremely addicted to? The internet. I know, I bet everyone reading this is on the internet right now. I can stop anytime I want. Sugar. That shit is extremely addictive. As a diabetic, I feel you, help me loudly crying. Based on experience, cut pure sugar cold turkey for a couple of days. All that remains would be sweets, carbs, decrease them gradually. After years now, whenever I drink tea with sugar, I feel like I can't stomach it. Buying shit I don't need. I have OCD, and throughout the course of the pandemic I landed myself $10,000 in credit card debt from impulse spending. It was like I needed that dopamine from having something I wanted, but since I have OCD, the dopamine never actually hit. So I just kept buying, hoping that one of the things I bought would finally make me happy. It never did. It was a constant cycle of shame, anxiety, purchasing, shame, etc. I'm glad I sought therapy at that point. Better late than never, but it was so hard to admit to myself that I needed help. It's helped immensely. I paid off the last $1,000 on my credit card last Friday, too. Smiley face. I hope I never make that mistake again, but at least now I have tools to recognize and try to stop myself. I have OCD and bipolar 2 and Amazon Prime, and that's the trifecta of compulsive shopping. It's terrible because I can find a legitimate reason to buy something online every day, even if I return it later, which is so easy to do. We're moving in a couple months, so I'm sorting out my closet and I'm finding clothes with the tag still on that I'd forgotten I had. I feel terrible and I try to stop, but then I'm right back at it again. I love you listed it out like your diagnoses are OCD, bipolar 2. Amazon Prime honestly valid, because every time Prime Video asks me to start another free trial to watch another movie, I feel like I'm about to lose it. If I don't have caffeine regularly, I get difficult. Caffeine is a drug. It's just not a ruin your life drug. If crystal meth is crank, caffeine is just cranky. Social media. Oh yes, I'm personally very addicted to this app called Reddit. Don't know if you've heard about it. Reddit is actually anti-social media. Shopping. Sounds ridiculous, but I don't remember the last time I didn't spend money for a whole 24 hours. Definitely working on it, but spending money can definitely become a problem. Dude, this sounds weird, but I was addicted to shopping for a while. What happened is I was making $150,000 plus for a while away from my wife for a month at a time, so when we met back up off work I spoiled her. Once I stopped that job, I realized I was addicted to shopping and needed to stop. Stopping cold turkey didn't work, but what did work was scaling down the price of the item I purchased. I stopped buying Lululemon for $80 a pop and started buying office supplies for $1 to $5 a pop at Dollar Tree. Then I would donate the office supplies to teachers locally to feel better. Once I realized cheap goods could scratch the itch and I could feel good about it, it became more of a hobby and I was able to just wean myself off it. I used to call my shopping trips retail therapy. Back then, I didn't have a lot of money, but whenever I'd have a stressful day at work, I'd call my wife and let her know I'd be late and ask her if there was anything we needed for the house. If nothing, then I'd go to Best Buy or GameStop, otherwise I'd go to the store that had what we needed. My main thing was just to window shop, since we didn't have any spare money to spend on frivolous things. I'd wander the store for 60 to 90 minutes, pick up whatever we needed, then head home feeling like I had a nice break from everything. Nowadays, even though I make more than double what I used to, I avoid physical stores unless it's absolutely necessary. The stores and people, both workers and other shoppers, don't feel as welcoming or relaxing. Whatever has changed in our capitalist society has taken away the joy of physical shopping, so I do most of my relaxing browsing on the internet. I guess since I'm now getting my retail therapy through a glass screen on my Win 11 PC, I'm finally, truly window shopping. I love shopping. Some things I've been experimenting with are using things I've bought, a ton of yarn, creating things, drawing doodles of the things I want and the price to tally up how much I've saved not buying stuff, and the library. I love the library especially cause you get that new thing, hit, but it's free and you read a book, so that's healthy. Reading in general really, cause of course I have a huge stash of books, too. Outside of that, I've been pushing my buying habits towards things for the house, like cleaning supplies, or others, so at least there's a productive gain from the shopping. I recently found my sweet spot in this supply chain. I've always had great ideas for t-shirt designs, and, at first, I design the t-shirt, and then order it. Now I sell my designs. I also recently started enhancing other bulk products I sew, so I try to transform random things I'm ready to get rid of into entirely new products, and have been selling those too. Shopping can be addictive, but creating your own custom thing, that nobody else in the world will have, is a high that shopping can never reach. And when some person on the street stops me and says, "OMG, where did you get those overalls?" I tell them that I made them. And the conversation, more often than not, moves instantly into, "Would you be able to make these for me?" Quote, "Yes, ma'am, sir, I can." Won't be exactly the same, as every design will have its own unique set of materials, but the structure will be the same. I'm not a factory, but I can make this basic design for you. Today, my love of collecting has changed. Now it's all about new fabrics, interesting haberdasheries, buttons, that sort of thing, the best zipper construction I can find. I'm learning now how to repurpose Gore-Tex, which is actually really intricate, but I'm loving that process. I channeled my passive love of fashion into an active love of fashion. Video games. Took me 15 years to figure out how to balance video games and life. Now I play video games a few hours a month but still spend too much time on Reddit. I played video games as my main entertainment for over 20 years. I thought I would always do that. And yet, here I am, played maybe 10 hours in total this year. Not that I don't want to, but I have other stuff that seems to be more interesting to me right now. Steam sales. Chocolate. It's a problem. I need to stop, but I'm pretty much addicted, because without it, days are horrible. LMAO, I live next to a chocolate factory and it smells delicious most days out of the week. No desire for chocolate even though I enjoy the smell. You would die, haha. Charlie, is that you? Anything that clears my sinuses. Halls, Vaporub, Olbas. It's like walking through a wintry forest but in my nose. Vapor under the nose. Every single night. Since I was a kid. Yes. Part of my nightly routine is putting a little Vicks under my nose. Alcohol. And Reddit FFS. How the fuck is this the 150th response? I've seen 2 top-level comments saying they're addicted to Burt's Bees lip balm and nobody has mentioned fucking alcoholism. It's one a lot of people are in absolute denial of. I know I was. Easier too when you surround yourself with others that have the same addiction. I justified mine as just social drinking for years. I only quit a few days ago out of necessity, currently being on probation. Once I felt the physical withdrawal symptoms a couple days in, I finally begun to realize just how bad I had let the problem get. Now it's hard to imagine going back to that life even though it was so very recent, and hard to fathom how much I deluded myself into thinking I didn't have a problem. Tobacco, but it's not the nicotine, because when I quit a few years back I had both patches and gum which I didn't touch after the first few days, but the physical act of smoking, whether it be cigarette or pipe, is what I craved. Vaping, with and without nicotine, also didn't satiate that craving. I love the taste, smell and ritual of smoking tobacco products. I have friends who are exactly like this. For me it's definitely the nicotine. I know there are drawbacks and cancer risks, but it keeps me sharp and focused. I have ADHD and personally it works better than any medication I've been prescribed. I am not a doctor and this is just my experience. It's been proven that nicotine is effective for increasing focus and memory retention. Huberman also has some interesting findings. I used it in college for all of my midterm and final studying, so you are correct and not alone. Same, I'm a recovering heroin addict, yet I still have trouble not smoking cigarettes. Over 2 years ago I successfully quit probably the most devastating illegal addiction a person can have, but I still can't stop buying $12 packs of cigarettes a couple times a week. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I thought to quit tobacco while I was at it, but very quickly found that it was best not to do that at the moment while I was detoxing from the alcohol. That $12 pack is far better than heroin, my friend. Give it time, maybe give it a try later. Weed, in my state. For real, weed is so strong now, once you get a habit it's tough to break. This is a great point. Are there strains that are milder and remind more of the old school strains? Yes, people love to tell you weed isn't addictive, but it absolutely is. I was a daily smoker and it took me ages to fully quit. Edit, habit forming, not addictive. Edit 2, unless, ? Caffeine in my iPhone. Literally on my phone as I make coffee. Sounds like a chill morning to me. Literally on my phone upvoting your comment as I drink coffee. The hokey pokey. But I turned myself around. That's what it's all about. Everything. I'm an extreme addict. Anything I do, I end up doing to the max. Free drinks one night a week rapidly becomes 200 drinks in a week. Diets turn into anorexia. Quitting a diet becomes a binge eating disorder. I take up horticulture, learn how to propagate and literally bring home 500 plants in one day. I start reading again and suddenly, I have no time for anything else because I'm tearing through a whole Rubbermaid of library books a week. You don't even want to know what an all-consuming issue my sex drive, caffeine habit and nicotine addiction are. I feel like you can become a master at something if you get addicted to skills and whatnot. You should start picking up random skills, like instruments and stuff. Oh, I have. I'm excellent at all kinds of stuff. Shooting, picking locks, speed reading, growing damn near anything, swimming, horseback riding, cutting hair, makeup, foraging. You name it. My ex literally said that one of the reasons he kept me around is because I'm going to be insanely useful when society collapses. Tears of joy. This is me. I've had an ed since I was 9, so that's always been an issue, but I get addicted to anything and everything. I had a streak of reading for about 10 hours a day last summer, still a problem. I found a stash of vodka and I was drunk 24/7 for about 6 months. Nobody noticed, lol. I'm a teen and I live with my family. I play guitar obsessively. I drink the same cup of coffee at the same time every day. I weigh the ingredients so it's exact, and I got addicted to self-harm, so now I'm scarred to shit. I don't even listen to music like a normal person. I listen to the same albums over and over, several times a day for whatever reason. I'm always told that I have an amazing vocabulary and that I'm a human encyclopedia because of all the useless shit I know, so maybe it's not a bad thing. Have you been assessed for autism? Quite a few things you describe fit. My life got easier after being diagnosed. It might be the same for you. Well, hi. Glad to meet my much younger, identical twin. Lol. I have the exact same issues with a lot of the stuff you mentioned. It's hell because everything you enjoy becomes the only thing you want to do. When my ex found out how many coffees, caffeine pills, energy drinks I was going through every day, he told me to switch to meth because it had to be cheaper and healthier. I'm covered in scars to the point where I go swimming in leggings and a hoodie, so I don't freak people out. My dad tried to get me into gaming and next thing I knew, my stepmom was shaking me to let me know that I hadn't left my chair in 18 hours. Varsity swim turned into 6 hours of working out every day. I completely hyper-focus and can't turn off. It's the worst.